Tuesday, August 4th, 2022. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please take roll.
Commissioner Sawinski,
Here.
Commissioner, I'm sorry, Mick, I'm going to jack up your name.
Here.
Samansky,
Got it.
Commissioner Memberto,
Come on, Nancy.
Commissioner Weiner, Commissioner McBride,
Here.
Commissioner Yoder,
Here.
and Chair Whitliff. All right.
At this time, we can approve to take a, Plan Commission take action to approve the August 4th, 2022 agenda. Do we have any motions?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
There you go.
Motion by Marlene, second by Mick.
Right.
Take roll, please.
Commissioner Samansky,
Here, President. Yes.
Commissioner Memberto,
Yeah, here. Yes.
and Commissioner McBride,
It's contagious, man.
Commissioner McBride.
I said yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Yoder
Yes, here present.
and Chair Slawinski.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
At this time, does any member of the commission have any conflicts of interest on any of the approved agenda items? If not, let's move on to the approval of the minutes. At this time, the planning commission may approve the July 7th, 2022 meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Mick, second by Roger. Any discussion? Please take roll.
Commissioner Samansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Memberto,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
Commissioner Yoder,
Yes.
Chair Slawinski.
Yes. Correspondence. Do we have any correspondence?
No.
Okay, next on the agenda, presentation by Fire Chief Mark Cameron.
There you go.
Informal. Yes, yes. Yes.
Thank you all for having me for a small presentation, just to kind of tell you a little bit about the fire department. My name is Mark Cameron, for those of you who don't know me, and I've been in the fire service for about 34 years. Been with the city of Manistee just under 20.
Really?
So a little bit of longevity there. The city fire station, as most of you know, we're the oldest continuously operating station. It's kind of a proud thing that we claim to. Building was built in 1888, and we've been housed there 24/7, 365 since 1899. So it's kind of a proud piece that we hold there in history.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know, we have approximately 8 full-time members, including myself. 7 of the guys are shift workers. They work a 48-96, so they're on for 2 days straight, and then they're off for 4, barring anyone taking holiday vacation or sick time. Out of those 7 guys, we have 3 crews. In the 3 crews, one of those crews have a 3-man. Currently, our 3rd man is going to school actually tomorrow. Takes his final exam for a paramedic program. Upon his completion, which that will happen, we'll have every one of our members certified to the paramedic level, which is the highest level we carry as far as like ambulance transports, without starting to get into specialty, other specialty areas. So we offer here in the city ALS, Advanced Life Support Transport Service, to Manistee. So any medical call that goes off, we respond, and we can deal with anything from cardiac drugs to pain medication, limping, everything along the line. We've been called out a lot lately to assist. Just there's an overall problem across the United States with responders and ambulance service. So we've been out in the county. We try to keep as close to our home base here as we can. We kind of try to work those logistics out with our neighbors and MMR, and we even utilize other neighboring fire departments that can come in and help drive for us. So we try to keep all those things in balance. I think as last year, we ran outside the city 113 times. Currently, this year, we're out about 58, so we're right targeting on the trend. Numbers in the fire service are constantly going up. We're at 117 over last year's projection of where we are today, so, or where we were. This is, we're over that right now, so. It's been getting busier and busier as things goes on, time to time.
Jesus.
We have, on each one of our ships, we have 3 captains. We have, our senior captain is John Petty. Our second captain is Brett Haskin. He also, you may have heard that name here with the planning commission. He also does, he's like our fire marshal and inspector. So he has just gone through schooling for site plan review and sending through constant, CE classes to maintain that. So
Yeah.
trying to help that out as much as possible and try not to make things too complicated, but, that kind of helps us get involved, and then it helps us get ahead of the game so that when the units or developments go in, that we can have a safety factor built into that.
Mhm.
So current roles that we carry over to the fire department, primarily we do EMS, that's probably about 85 to 90% of our call volume. Average year, we run through around 1,300 calls. And then we also, obviously, we do fire. Those aren't as high in numbers, which is good. We average around 20 in those a year. We also do automatic mutual aid with Manistee Township and Philo Township. So anytime there's an active fire, smoke in a house, we get called to their township as well. In return, they also come in and help us at the same events. We end up with an all hands page, which calls all of our guys, which is all 8. But they call all of us back in, and then we also see what we get from our responding neighbors. So we try to shoot for around, we're happy when we have 10 or greater, but 14 is our ideal numbers we're looking for, if not a little more. In the fire department, we do a lot of other things that people may not always see or know, but see us from time to time. We do hydrant pumping, we do building inspections, Brent gets into the planning and site plans. Chris Jeffries works out in our, he does a lot of our public education, and he does a lot of our training in-house. We've been working a lot more now doing outside training with Manistee Township and neighboring townships, kind of folks coming together at their site. At Manistee Township, they have some Connex boxes, a training facility. So we've kind of been collaborating there and doing some rope training, some hose work, some water flow training. Just kind of bring everybody together and get them on that same page. And it really helps out with sharing a lot of the knowledge that everybody has, even out in the county. Everybody brings something to the table. That's about what I have. And does anyone have questions for me? Anything else that we do, or something you'd like to see us do, or
I just have a question about the increase in calls that you mentioned. Have you identified any particular trends?
driving force?
Yeah.
Not really.
No?
I mean, a few years back, we used to run 1,300 calls. When we first started ALS Transport, we would take people out to the hospital, and then we would end up giving courtesy rides back home. Well, that ended up becoming a service that kind of became abused, and it also took our ambulance, our sole ambulance, out of service. Because we are such a small station, we have 2 guys on, and that's the minimum staffing for an ambulance. So that would basically take that crew out of service for that 20, 30-minute period to go out and bring back. So we cut back on that. But our call volume was still going up, and that was, that did create quite a few additional calls or numbers. But we're finding ourselves, after not doing that, we're above that at this point. So I can't say any one thing in particular.
Because I don't think our population has increased, so I'm just
No,
curious
it's
what was
not.
driving
It's
it.
not. I don't see it increasing that much. Going outside the city might increase it a little bit. I mean, but we're talking 113 calls. That's,
Yeah.
that's for last year. So
Mm.
that is definitely a piece of it. The city ambulance service, we do billing through third party. We only bill city residents for their insurance. If they don't have insurance, we don't do soft billing or
Yeah.
controversy unfortunately, it happened a few years back that we got away from that practice because wasn't the best. So we generate a nice chunk that offsets and helps, reestablish some of our motor pool fund and some other areas that offset things. So, going back to some of the other operations we do, along with fire and EMS, we do water rescue, ice rescue. We do some confined space primarily with the city, and then we partner with Morton Salt with COVID and all this stuff that's taking place in Montana. We are looking at getting back on track with doing our annual trainings within their facility.
Yeah.
So those are some of the additional speaking of water. We ended up having a water rescue this evening that a guy who was on a floating, thank goodness he was on a floating unit, but he got caught in a rip current. Pulled out Coast Guard, he got to the end of the pier, Coast Guard nabbed him, and then brought him back in. We gave him an assessment. No harm, no foul, just a exciting 15 minutes.
Thank God he was
This
on a
evening
float.
this happened?
Yeah, just before coming.
Oh, really? Because they've been having quite a problem, I didn't.
Further downstate. Oh, no.
Yeah, Grand Haven with, with issues. They even closed beaches, didn't they, because
Yeah.
of it?
They did.
Now, would you, as the fire department, be able to close a beach because of?
Yeah, we don't, usually Josh, that's in Josh's realm. He has just put in a lighting system down there that kind of gives you a status of where it's at, follows by the weather forecast. It's a red light down there.
Oh, where's that at now?
That is on each beach
It's on the
house.
building system.
Yeah.
It used to be flags now. it's,
Yeah, last I saw flags.
The neat thing is that this light system that's right on the sides, on the front and on the back of the beach houses, they
Oh.
upgrade with weather conditions. And that's a pilot program, they're constantly upgrading that.
Oh.
Josh would have a lot more to tell you on that, but it's a nice system and it's gonna get better as time goes on because they're adding closer interval times.
Oh,
A lot of lakeshore communities are going to that.
It's connected directly to the Weather Bureau, so
Yeah.
when they have an advisory, it automatically updates.
oh, no, that's a good
Last
idea.
week, they had a thing on the TV, came on the radio, that waves and the undercurrent were so bad, they closed the beaches. And you drive down to First or Fifth Street Beach, there was so many people in the water, and I'm like, what the heck?
Chief Glass and I usually, we confer on a lot of things and we stand behind each other. If there's a decision there, we'll support them.
Yeah.
Vice versa. So it's been-
I used your services twice for myself, and you guys were great. You came there quickly and got me taken care of, and I'm still on this side of the dirt, so.
That's great.
Oh, yeah.
Chief Cameron, again, you mentioned MMR. For a while, they were understaffed to the point where you were basically the only ambulance in town. Have they picked up the slack now?
It's coming along, it's getting better.
Okay.
It's not.
Not where it
out of
should
the
be?
woods yet
Okay.
by any stretch. They just ran through an EMT basic class. Problem is they cover a very large area. Some of the people that are from Manistee are actually getting shipped up to Traverse City to cover shifts, so it's a step in the right direction. It's gonna take time. It isn't something that's gonna happen overnight. We're just finishing up they're finishing up a paramedic program going towards externship, so the guys in the class have a little more time. They're going out into the field right now. Actually, we are one of the clinical sites that 2 guys will be coming down to, and they'll do ride walk time with us. We'll give them that experience. We're doing that collaboration with Munson Health, Traverse City Education, and West Shore Community College. So we're looking forward to that. Just had a advisory board meeting here for them. They just have their certification. You've probably seen that paper maybe. So that was a part of that, getting that certification. So it's moving forward, and we'll see where it goes.
Anything from us as the planning commission that we can do to support or enhance your
No, I think
operations?
Katie's been doing a great job with, the biggest thing that I've seen improvement upon is that we're involved in the plans, site plans early.
Oh.
That's been huge. So, I mean, Katie, been doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
You're just saying that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, they do. They do a good job.
Doesn't want to get invited back for at least another year.
Yeah, they're good
Anything
people.
else?
How about staffing? Do you foresee a staffing shortage or an increase or higher?
For us, I've been pushing for a staffing increase in our firehouse for the sole purpose is when our staff days, or when our ambulance leaves the station, 2-man minimum staffing, that's what I have on. I'm during 9 to 5 in the day, or 8 to 5. I'm the one left back at the station, and I can't respond and transport with another. I have to call, or we kind of work on some other,
Oh, geez, yeah.
when the other ambulance is out. By having another guy back during the day, it doesn't fix everything totally, but it takes it in a step in the right direction. I mean, people are your most expensive costs and stuff like that, but they're also the most important.
You gotta have the staff to
Without the
run.
staff, you can't, the trucks don't do anything.
Yeah, maybe we can make a recommendation to council for, staff increase for you. Maybe we could, you
That'd be
know,
awesome.
yeah, we could do that maybe.
Awesome. 3 men on a shift would be a good start.
So in your experience though, for the last 20 years, what was the highest level of staffing in the,
You know, going back from when I started, I think the highest I seen was, we had one shift that didn't have a 3-man crew. I think we had 8 guys that were on shift, but it never lasts long. There's always that balance between 8 or 9 and 7, you know, it fluctuates back and forth. The downfall is that if I lose one guy on the station, I'm down to 6-man staff every day that somebody's on vacation, or God
Yeah.
forbid they get hurt or sick.
Or COVID.
It's overtime, and that's overtime,
sure.
48 hours, shift after shift after shift.
So 9 is the appropriate staffing level?
Yeah, if we had 9 plus myself or plus the chief's position would be great. Having 3 guys on a shift, that would leave 1 guy back at the station. It would allow him to at least get an ambulance out there, and during the day, we have double ambulance coverage. We've used our ambulances sometimes in car accidents where no other entities were responding. We were the only 2 ambulances running.
Well, I mean, that's,
You've been close a couple times to go south.
Yeah, and those are the other possibilities too, because if we have a bad trauma and the Iglo's not flying or helicopter's not flying that day, due to weather, we may get transported or bypassed and go directly to Traverse City. That's a 3.5-hour stint. We have 2 guys that.
they're not
And
there.
I only have 8 guys total, so you take 2 out of the picture, and who else is available is.
Yeah.
So it's tight. We're doing a lot. We're on the wire. We do a lot with what we have. And
Yeah,
I'm proud of
just-
everybody that's there, what they do.
Yeah.
But it is tight, so. I
Okay.
don't want to take up too much of your time.
No, we don't wanna take up your time.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks,
for
Chief.
having me in here and speak.
Yeah, appreciate your
Very much
time.
entertain any assistance you could give in working out some staffing.
Yeah, well, that's,
Walk across the
yeah.
street and hang out at the fire department.
Yeah, I would, vote to definitely write a letter, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
How many more weeks till the kids' concert concert weekend?
One more week, the 13th will be a single concert. Regulars are coming in from Ann Arbor, and then the weekend of the 27th, last weekend in August, will be the big one.
All right.
We'll be reaching out to you down.
Yeah.
Festival.
Oh,
It's what, bluegrass and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
bluegrass and folk, American.
It's got a pretty good size.
So, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you.
Thanks, Mark.
you. Alrighty.
Okay, public comment on agenda-related items. Anyone in the public have any comment?
That would be Chief Cameron, and he,
He's bopping out.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, on to new business, 101 South Lakeshore permit transfer request. We're looking to table this for this evening because they were not able to make it this evening. We need somebody to put a motion for tabling this till next meeting.
I don't know that we would really have to table this. I read that it's basically just a simple transfer.
But we've been setting, we don't want to set the precedent of them not being here. Well, we've done it for other groups
Yeah,
already.
true.
We've had to have somebody give us a presentation of some type.
You
Our
got it?
bylaws things state that if they can't come here or have somebody represent them,
Yeah.
we table it.
And I will say that I did speak with the applicant, I guess you could say, and I told them that the decision may be tabled if they don't show up, and they were totally okay with that. They were actually letting me know that they wouldn't be able to attend and actually asked to push it to the September meeting, so
Question, I mean, it's not going to hold anything up if we
No.
table it.
My concern is,
at this point in time, it's more a formality of the process for transferring the ownership. It's not necessarily holding up any construction or anything, so one more month will not make a big difference, and the applicant understood that as well.
I'll make that motion, we table it to one more month because the applicant wasn't attending. How's that? Is that what we're looking for?
I'll second.
Motion by Roger, second by
Shelley.
Shay.
That's nice.
We'll call her Pam. We all do that.
There we go,
I was gonna
there
say,
we go.
Mark, you're doing a good job.
I'm prepared to be Mark.
Talk to him, Nancy, tell him.
Mark can't remember either, so.
Right. Any discussion?
Right.
Okay, take roll, please.
Commissioner Samansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Memberto,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
Commissioner Yoder,
Yes.
Chair Slawinski.
Yes. Okay, on to the master plan review. I'm guessing that's you folks over there. Okay.
Yes, so the master plan has been a topic of discussion at the last couple of meetings, just kind of preliminary discussion. So I did put together this memo for you all, kind of detailing what our next steps will be. So the Planning Enabling Act wants you to, review the plan every 5 years, but best practices annually. And really what the commission is looking for with this annual review, recommended annual review, is that you're looking at, the overall intent, the goals and tasks of the plan, and if any major changes have occurred within the city that would, kind of outdate the plan or not make it as valid anymore. So prior to the September meeting, staff will collect data on the goals, and I think they call them, goals and tasks of the plan, and determine what's been accomplished. We can bring that back to you at September to help with the decision on if, the plan does in fact need updating, and how far we want to take that update. The city manager, Bill, did inform me that there are funds budgeted in this year's budget for a master plan update. So if the commission decides that they feel, there's a little bit more groundwork that needs to be done and the plan really does need a review, we could look to put out an RFP for a master plan update. So that's kind of where we're at this moment. I also included with your memo a fact sheet by Michigan Municipal League, and this just kind of breaks down in a little bit more detail than what I provided in the memo, what you should be looking for with a review, 5-year annual. And I also included with the memo links to the master plan and just off of the county and city website, so multiple places for you guys to find it.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
And
Those are helpful.
yeah,
Katie, this is an RRC requirement, correct?
yes. It is an RRC requirement as well, for updating the master plan. So even if we find that it's, the master plan is still fitting, we would like to have this in the record. We can, supply the minutes to RRC and let them know that it has been addressed and, yeah.
And they could always look to review it and say, yeah, we feel that this is still valid, and then recommend that an RFP put out for an actual master plan review later on, correct?
Yeah.
And that would be wise because if you guys decide to crack this open, it's going to take longer than the 2 months you have afforded to you by RRC. So keep that in mind when you review those objectives and goals. That RFP is going to take time. Selecting a bid and interviews are going to take more time. And then, usually when you look at a master plan to get we look around between 14 months to 2 years to collect the data that you need. So if you guys do decide to do a major overhaul, keep that in mind. And really you're looking to meet the RRC requirement, which could be as little as looks good. We've reviewed it. So.
So
Are you taking into account any of the stuff that the class we had on the coastal stuff?
That is not currently in your master plan, but could be a major point of an RFP that is developed in the future.
So that could be something after this renewal and this.
Right.
In a review process, we could basically make the recommendation for an RFP review, correct?
I would not do it in this instance. I would
We can look to update the goals and objectives and make.
Minimum requirements.
Yeah, meet the
Yeah.
minimum requirements of the RC, because that is a good point that I wasn't considering when we first started talking about this. That, yeah, RRC does have a definitive timeline, and I'm not sure how they would accept if we said that we were under a major overhaul when they have that timeline for the 5-year
So
review.
that timeline, I know you said that there's budgeted funds. Are they, I know, I thought I knew this and now I'm thinking that I don't. Which fiscal year?
You
is
guys
that
run from
budgeted on?
October 1st.
thought. Okay,
So
so
they're
those
in
funds-
for next year's budget,
Okay.
not this year's.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, also, when was the last time there was actually a full
It-
review and
It was 2 years ago. It's supposed to be done annually. Like, Rob, we sat down with that, and Katie, the only reason I'm answering is because you probably don't know.
Yeah.
And then we amended those with some guidelines from the chair and such, which was not the official way of doing it. It needs to be actually cracked open, and then the amendment process started. So
And there were probably some allowances made during COVID for some of this stuff.
I assume so. I was not really part of the conversation.
Pushed back.
Yeah, so, but it was something that was looked at. It was updated with appropriate entities. Some no longer existed when the master plan was done, so they basically removed them, those types of things. It was mainly housekeeping. But realistically, you guys could look at it, say, yep, and then we could put it on the agenda on another time, and then you guys, as a new budget comes in, and say, hey, if these funds became available, we actually want to see you move forward with a complete rewrite.
Okay, so what's the timeline that this has got to be done by for renewal?
For the RRC, I mean, we like to tidy everything up by the annual review, which is October. But then you guys consider, turn around and make like another, recommendation that you start putting out that bid, because, I mean, if it's a 2-year process, you have to start now.
So basically, November, we can start coming up with the new stuff to put in there that would not affect what we're doing now.
Yeah, it's an RFP development. And at that point in time, I would look to you guys call like a work session to work on that openly. And then, hey, this is really what we're looking for on top of the requirements through the Planning Enabling Act.
And what's the date on the current master plan? When was it originally?
It's been
I'm
about
not
6, 7
recalling
years
off the
ago.
top of my head.
I think it's 2018.
Denise was
Oh, was
still
it
here.
18? I thought it was older than that. Okay.
It might be 16.
that.
Oh, she's going right to it. There you go.
She's going. She's there.
And they're actually in those folders. You guys have the master plan in there.
2016.
60, that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
So,
16, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2016. see?
2006, but I knew it wasn't that old.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what Pam said too. Yeah.
see, and they developed that. It was adopted in May 2016, but it started in 2013.
Yeah.
So
Was
it
the speed of government?
Yeah, Denise
Well,
did a lot of stuff on that. She
the
busted
big
it.
portion of it is actually the public input, and you can't just go out and get it. You have to like actually hold the events and get the information and
And the noticing periods are
And then
a
noticing
little bit
period.
longer for master plans, between like 40 and 60 days, depending on what kind of
so
update you're doing.
It's a-
Entailed in
It's a
that.
long, drawn-out process.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Did a lot, I think they did a lot, we did for the 16 is a lot by surveys. I think they were putting surveys out.
I know.
yeah, you guys put surveys out. You can put them on the website. A lot of times, what some communities do, if they're not, they put one in with their water bill and say, hey, please provide us this feedback, because you're already doing a mailing to them.
I'm curious, and I'm only because with ARPA and CARES funding, I know a lot of governments took advantage of some of these things to make contact-free, but there are new and simple survey companies that get pushed through mobile phones and things like that. So I'm curious if the city was allocated any funds, or if they put any funds toward anything like that, or if they have an opt-in for citizens. No.
No.
No, I mean, so a lot of that will be developed through your RFP process, like what you want. So like, if that's something that you want in your RFP, you would make it as a requirement of the RFP. Other things that we we really say if you guys go with like a third party or that you always request the files in an editable format. What a lot of third party vendors will do is they'll keep the original file so you can't edit the plan on your annual review, and then you have to come back to them. So if you get it, you basically get it in an editable format, and then any staff member can go in and make those changes for you.
Okay.
It might speed up the process for some of those things and
They'll try their darndest to keep it fast, so you can't edit it.
right.
That's why you gotta put it right in their request, that this has
Oh,
to
yeah.
be delivered as an edible.
But I'm just talking globally, you know, moving toward making it simpler for people to have input, because, you know, people really have to work to get information, and by work, I mean, it's kind of lazy work, but they have to remember, okay, every, you know, fourth Tuesday I have to go to this meeting, or I have to go to this meeting, or I have to remember to look in the newspaper if I don't have the newspaper, or go
Yeah.
to the website, or.
Like for our master plan, we put the survey available on like the county website, but you know, even if you do that, like people have to know it's there. So like noticing is still going to be a portion of that. And then, I mean, if you can just include it in the water bill, then you're guaranteeing that everybody in the city's getting it.
Yeah,
Not
what-
necessarily
Just like the
seeing
city
it
puts
though.
the newsletter with the tax bill.
Yes.
Right.
At my previous, at my previous job, we were doing a master plan, and then we had a couple other plans that we had been working on that everyone was trying to think of more creative ways to get people to, because it is hard to get people to show up to public hearings and
That's
public input sessions and such, and, yeah, I feel like multiple formats is really the way to go. Try to hit people
When
from
you-
all.
Yeah, I work in the world of statistics and marketing and the rest of it, and so we're constantly trying to find, and you know, there's statistics that say like 93 out of every 100 people doesn't open an email, but they open a text message. And so you
Yeah.
have these companies that now make it very, very simple. You get a text message, pick the, you know, you can go through a 4 or 5 question survey very quickly. It takes literally 60 seconds and people are done with it. And and you give them an option on a website, like the city website, to opt into it, and they can literally answer it right away. And so you get much better feedback, input, and response rates. So, you know, it's one of those things that they're generally a pretty cheap monthly subscription cost for a lot of these softwares. And I was just curious if,
The city does
city
have
looked
the
into
city does have a subscription for like on notices for like so like if there's a planning commission meeting or something like that, they'll throw out a notice or a special meeting's called, and the county as well. It was built into the service that they provided for out of Civic Plus.
great.
So you can opt into it and then you'll get those things, but I don't know a lot of people that are opting into it outside of, you know, people who work in the fields or like that are generally interested.
yeah.
Then you'll see people from way outside the area getting into the website and
Yeah.
kind of sabotaging things a little bit.
So, but, I mean, you know, there are inventive ways to do it. I mean, there's other polls out there, there's ARC story maps. I mean, there's a lot of different ways on there, but that will have to be part of your RFP process.
We used to, in the military, we used to do a lot with just survey people. We would get 10 or 15 survey people, and when we had special events, we would flood them and have them fill out. And basically how you narrow down, so they have to give you their address, their name and their address, and then they sign, and then you get their information. And people are willing, if somebody walks up to you and say, hey, do you have 3 minutes to answer 10
Yeah.
questions?
I mean, you target them. We usually target people at like events like Hops and Props, Onekama Days,
Yeah,
Bear Lake
Hops and
Days.
Props.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then so you walk around and you just say, hey, you know, I got, you know, 10 questions.
Hey,
You know, like these are for the master plan, which, hey, you know, a lot of conversations taking place about the master plan and the Lakeshore Motel and how those correlated. Would you like to know more? You know, like,
It's a good idea.
But the-
Rental's got one coming up at theirs in the next, couple of weeks too. They got a master plan meeting. Open
Look for
public.
the,
The Ramsdale Theater.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. We've tried to get as inventive as possible. Luckily, you guys only have 5,000 people here, and you have to send out local bills. So you'll probably get most of the residents, and then you want to hit some of the people that are not. And then just putting it available and like letting the paper know, Facebook, social media, the city. You guys probably will get a lot of responses, especially if you do a story in the paper about it where you really you know, give the pros and cons of like participation. And then people realize like, oh, this is what govern what their decision making on when projects come in. And once they understand that, then they want to get involved.
But the problem is when you put it in. I mean, when we get the summer people up here, or when the winter birds go down to Florida, makes a difference what kind of feedback you get
Yeah.
from who you filling it up.
So the county's looking at doing a master plan process, and we've said that we want to have, I think, 4 or 5 events at different areas in the county. And just, you know, hey, and as well as having it available on social media and availability on the website from the third party that's developing it. So, you know, that's how we're trying to get out and get participation. And when that time comes, we'll be looking at the newspaper. But none of that's, you know, we haven't even officially selected our person who we're doing it. So.
Well, I would just like to see more, and this is just me personally, I'd love to see more active participation, not just when citizens disagree with something, so that, you know, so that they're not just opposing it, but they're moving something forward and they're part of it. I'd love to see more involvement in there.
Well, and again, especially when it comes to a vision, you know, or a vision change.
Oh, sure.
You know, you want to have somebody with some inspiring ideas.
Yeah, you only hear about it when they don't like it.
How many counties you guys run then? You say you're trying to get the.
We run one county,
One
Lots of
county?
townships.
but lots of townships.
Yeah.
Oh, the townships.
Yeah.
That's what you're confused.
We do 8.
Yeah, that's-
Partnerships with.
8 of them?
that gets to be the zoo.
So you got
4 of them
eight,
are villages.
8
3-year
different
villages.
plans for 8 different towns?
Oh no, the county plans, it takes in all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
Oh.
county has a master plan as well, so
Takes in
just
all
like the
these.
county planning commission has their duties under the
So that
county
takes
board.
27 years.
Yeah.
Well, they plan on doing it in a 2-year period.
Well, when we were doing ours
Yeah.
back, the county was doing theirs too, the young man that was
Mm-hmm.
there. They were working on the county master plan the same time we were.
Yep. And in '08, that must have been, I don't know if that would have been Rob. I assume it was, but it might not have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, the good thing about having the county start it is that there's lessons learned there that we can piggyback on, and we don't have to necessarily always.
Yeah, but we should all be on the same page.
Sure, well, exactly, yeah.
And if it's a county thing, like, you know, with Filer, what they're trying to develop and what we're trying to develop and what Manistee County's trying to develop, right, we're bordering each other, East Lake. I mean, you would think we'd all want the same thing. No, I don't know.
We'd hope so,
I mean, yeah, that's what well, you
Not
know,
always, I mean.
but
have some
we
townships-
don't know until we do the public input sessions.
yeah, right.
So that dictates everything pretty much. So
Well, we-
Isn't it Thompsonville that has
Oh.
a 10-acre build requirement?
Oh, there is one of the communities.
So, I mean-
Isn't it Thompsonville?
Dixon does.
I mean, some of them
Yeah.
do. I mean, that's
Yeah, there's a
for
couple of them you have
agricultural
to-
preservation. That's not bad. But
10-acre
in the city,
parcel.
obviously, that would never work.
No.
But
Right.
in less dense populations who want to
Yeah, keep
their farmland,
Right.
and
Right.
they want to keep a rural appearance, that makes sense. 10 acres, you know, is not a ton when you're sitting on 100, you know, like, you know, but there's also what's called cluster developments, where you have a 40, they let you develop 10 acres of it as single-family housing, but you have to keep 30 of it and they let you go below that 10-acre threshold on that. So you might have a house on an acre,
Right.
in those areas, so you have 10 houses, but then the rest of the 30 has to be preserved. So so then you get like the houses are clustered together as opposed to, you know, everywhere, you know, like 5. And then if you actually look at, like Manistee Township, we made the recommendation to increase that to, I think it was 5 or 10 acres in the rural areas. They disagreed and kept it at, I think, an acre or 5 acres. But if you look at like, Chief Cameron coming in here, the cost for them to commit services out around the county are the highest in the county. And that goes directly with when you allow for development into rural areas
Right.
that aren't centralized around your infrastructure.
Right.
So there's a cost associated with those, and in some cases, 10-acre minimums are very, they're normal.
Yeah, it does make sense in some areas. Yep, I could see that. Yeah, I think you guys are doing all right.
And a lot of surrounding counties are still working on theirs too, like when we were at that meeting, I think Benzie's working on one too. And then did Grand Traverse say something about they were in the process of something on theirs?
Yeah, a lot of the counties are looking at different ideas because, like Grand Traverse doesn't have a county planning department. They're looking at, from conversations with Networks Northwest, I have not, seen or negotiated or talked or anything in these conversations, but just for conversations I've had with that, there's consideration about like how do they adopt, or get some cohesion working together. And one of those conversations is to reinstate a county planning department. And then some of these other ones, those conversations, you're hearing a lot about like joint planning commissions around the area and trying to getting the townships all on the same level. So, and that's one of the questions that was a requirement when our RFP was going out was, is there a want for cooperation towards a single zoning ordinance that defines everything the same, but allows you to keep your own control over it with your own zoning districts, and then having looking at a joint planning commission at a county level. However, that's just one option, and it's by no means set in stone. And we are not moving towards that at this point in time. That's where, again, the public input comes into session, and that was just a question that was being asked as part of the RFP. Is this something you want? Yes or no? Or and then if so,
I think that's
what?
one of those things that has to be explained to people what the effect would be, that a one-size-fits-all might be fine for populated density people, but maybe get a little bit
Yeah,
further.
it works over on this side of the county, it
Yes.
won't work on the other side of the county.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of those conversations are simply getting to where like developers will work in all areas. We do have issues where developers don't want to, because they don't understand, maybe it's harder for them to work in that area. Everything's not the same to what they're used to. So if everything was the same, then are you willing to work over there? And with the developers that we have in our county and the lack of them, we're trying to make it streamlined as possible. So, but that's a question that's being asked. The answer might come back no. So, and then if that's the case, we just say, okay, well, we made our attempt, and we drive on.
We know what the answer is.
Yeah.
So,
We got the answer,
move on to something else.
and we will not pursue that. So,
The people spoke and we move on.
yep.
Well, what I don't understand is then with Chief Cameron made the comment, and someone asked about the population increase, and he said no. So why are we having such a housing problem if the population hasn't increased?
A variety of factors. It's not just one thing. I mean, we could spend all night on this.
But a big piece that didn't happen when we were growing up as a kid is the vacation. Not only vacation rentals, but vacation homes.
Yeah.
There are literally hundreds of homes in Manistee where they're only occupied for 2 months out of the year. The rest of the time, they're vacant. And then,
Agreed.
and the county as well.
Oh,
But that's a huge part of Manistee. And vacation rentals plays into that. There's 500 vacation rentals in Manistee.
exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
my previous
and that-
address-
There's a lot more that are just, I bought a house because it was inexpensive. I love coming up here and
Or I
someday I'm
inherited
gonna
it.
retire
Yeah.
here.
There's a lot of my neighbors. and
I mean,
previous
there's a variety of reasons, and it's not just a Manistee problem, it's a national problem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
The
understand that,
cost
but-
of building is not helping things. The lack of skilled tradesmen is another thing. The fact that older people aren't downsizing, because my parents are in this situation where, and they have a 2,000 plus square foot house. They don't want to maintain it anymore.
Right.
But where do you go?
But exactly, they're like, we don't have a mortgage, so.
Right. And then to build something.
They're like, if we went to a
Right.
condo, why would I downsize into something that I have to fit myself into? So,
And have
and
neighbors.
right, and so then you have a 2,000 square foot house at which they use maybe half of it, and it starts to deteriorate because I can't maintain it, and so then your housing stock it goes down. So there's a number of contributing factors as to why this is happening. But it's kind of a perfect storm.
Yeah. Yeah, all right, thank you. I just, you know, I was kind of confused. He's kind of confused.
So, I think we're still on master
I think
plan
we-
review.
So to come back to the city master plan, this was very good discussion
So-
surrounding all things master
So
plan.
you were
yes.
gonna get, weren't they gonna get details for us for September?
Yes, so September, staff is gonna look at the goals and objectives and is requesting that commissioners look at the overall intent of the plan. And given the extra piece of information that Mike has, given you all regarding RRC, we're anticipating some kind of determination and hopefully a formal motion with a determination on the plan that we can provide to RRC. And then after that deadline, we can, revisit the master plan once again. Especially if things are slower during the winter, it might be a good project to pick up through the winter months. And I don't think that we need a motion at this time. This is more so just,
Yeah, no, but that's what their plan is.
yeah, this is more so informative, and then we'll come back to it in
right.
September.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep.
On to old business. Do we have any old business?
No.
Public comments and communications. Meister speaking. Staff reports.
I don't have anything major for you guys. I do have a small update regarding the Housing Commission. They are looking at a property at 300 Care Center. I have been informed by Clinton. It's down, it's south of town, southeast, kind of. There's apartments down by there, but it's sort of industrial in that area as well.
Hospital.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay,
the
that's
old
what I thought.
hospital.
That's the one I've
yes,
been talking about.
Yeah, so
For the
the
last 3
Housing
months.
Commission is looking at that property and
For
Clinton.
what?
To consolidate our public housing, our scattered sites that are within the city.
Add up.
So, he wanted to make sure that you were all aware that this is being pursued, didn't want the commission,
Very good,
to
very
feel
good.
blindsided by anything, and he said he'd be more than happy to come in and do an informal presentation if this is something that they're going to continue moving
Mm-hmm.
forward with. It sounds promising, and it sounds like a very good thing for the Housing Commission.
Right.
I know that with their funding sources and such, they are kind of at a point right now where they're scrambling to get something together because we don't want to lose our funding for the
Right.
48 scattered units. I know public housing is not everyone's favorite topic, but it is very important and it's a
Has to be
need.
addressed though, yes.
Exactly, and those 48 units will disappear if
Sure.
things
Yeah.
aren't addressed. So,
People
and-
won't.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a perfect spot.
So, yeah, I think it's a great spot. I really hope that things continue to, come to fruition for them, but it's all very preliminary at this time. But the Housing Commission did want to make this commission aware that that may be coming down the pipeline. So,
Very good, very good, thank you.
yes. And that's all I really have for staff reports. this month.
Give you guys a couple things. We at the county hired a county grant writer. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. His name is Bill Kennis, and he's started now, and we're trying to bring him in and kind of get him moving on a couple of things.
He'll be with you?
Yep,
You
he's
guys there?
gonna be
he's not with us. He's a contractor that's basically answering to the administration office.
Contractor to you
I
guys,
think
who are
it's-
contractors?
Well, that's smart that
city?
they,
For the county.
Contractor of the county.
County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen those positions becoming more and more remote, which is smart. It's
Uh-huh.
all the same skill base, and if you can borrow from.
Do you
Right.
recall if it's a one-year contract?
It's just a
or-
one-year
It is just a
contract
one-year,
currently.
okay.
The master plan for the county, I know you guys, the rec plan has been updated. You guys are aware of that, but also with the ARPA request, I believe, if you guys have been paying attention to the county funds at all, they've approved a $15,000 to look towards staffing of that position. And I don't know if it's actually approved or if they have consensus on it. There's a huge difference because obviously they could go back on it, but I'm pretty sure it's consensus at this point in time. I don't know if they've had their meeting yet. I thought it was to take place on Tuesday, and I did not attend.
So they're contracting for jobs versus a position.
Well, it's a position as far as like for staffing them to pursue like trail development, but also along with that is working with like the county grant writer and to try to develop trail systems into the city as well as throughout the county. And as a portion of that would be also potentially is like, let's say the city wanted to write a grant, or they'd help, potentially do that if that becomes available. But these are conversations that, are very preliminary. Like I said, they gave a consensus to get it, but they're still a long ways off from funding it. But that's just kind of an idea of where they're at with it. So we're looking into ideas of how to get that position fully funded, and then hopefully we can move forward with some more trail development and recreation grants that utilize the master plan. The county recreation plan, not the master plan. Sorry.
Yeah,
They get that moving forward.
yeah, that's true.
And that's all I have for you guys right now.
Okay.
That's good.
Mick, got anything?
Nothing for the group?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Nothing.
I have one question.
Uh-oh.
I know we asked about different things last meeting, like the storage unit and different things.
Yes, I know that Pam had asked me about, Marty Spalding's property, the trailer on his property. I did touch base with Marty, and I also informed Pam, with her not being here tonight, that the yellow trailer on his property, he is actually cleaning it out. He had let me know in the next couple weeks, and then he said he just has to find someone to move it. So that was he was kind of at a stalemate for a while, and now he's really got the ball rolling. You had also asked about, the plans for that building, and there is a fairly decent size, relatively, addition to that building. It's basically doubling in size, so.
They got the foundation already.
Yeah, so that foundation that you saw is going to be,
I
an
didn't notice
additional
that
part
trailer
of that
until she
building.
pointed it out.
Yeah, I should have had a better idea before I called Marty, because I wasn't quite sure either, and then I kind of had to follow back up with him.
I remember when
Yeah.
Yeah,
it came in.
but he had all of that kitchen equipment in that trailer.
Okay,
That-
yeah.
And now that
Now he's moving it all into the truck where the car wash bay was.
right, and now he's cleaning it, he's getting it ready.
Yeah.
And then that piece that's being built, that's actually gonna be the kitchen.
Okay, yeah.
And the
So,
restaurant on 8th Street, that they
Restaurant.
made a 4-unit apartment.
Oh,
This looks like it's
Nothing's
stalled.
been done on that for months.
I've heard
On
about
8th?
that.
I saw a contractor there yesterday.
It's a 4-unit.
It's an electrical.
They came in front of
truck
us. It's
there,
4-unit.
they do.
Yeah, are those permits still valid, or?
I can look into that one. That one has not been brought to my attention
Been on
before,
it
I don't
for
think.
quite a
Well,
long time.
Well,
Eighth
like,
Street.
but I will tell you,
or-
for one thing, there is no availability
Yeah.
of siding
Yeah.
anywhere. If you notice, that new building that was
Everything's wrapped in
built,
Tyvek.
money was not an object, but you can't get what that isn't there to buy.
but there was electrical truck, 2 of them actually.
Yeah.
What I would assume. wired
Last couple days they've been
inside.
there.
So that's why you probably haven't seen anything on the
Yeah.
outside, but, yeah, they've been,
And building materials is really hard.
yeah, very hard.
Well, the reason why we haven't started on the street development on the north side is we can't get pipe.
Yeah, I believe it, Jesus, that's a
My
shame.
son is having trouble getting electric panel boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Okay, it's
Was
my
there
turn.
anything
I
else
got
that comes
two-
to mind, Marlene?
Who?
Pardon me?
I was just gonna make sure there wasn't anything else I missed from the last meeting.
Oh.
No,
No.
it's on
Is
the
that-
back, one of these.
Yeah, no, I don't
papers
think
you
so.
gave us.
I'd like to make a recommendation, we send a letter to the council for the fire department. I mean, I don't know if it makes sense, but it probably wouldn't hurt, would it? That they, bring on another body for staffing,
Yeah.
per Mr. Cameron's,
Looking
request.
to increasing their staffing level.
yeah.
For one thing.
And we could use the justification is the increased workload with doing plans
For us.
for doing, the plan, site review and fire inspection.
And they also
Yeah, and he did mention the call load is,
Yeah, yeah.
need to look in the NFPA requirements.
And then, one other thing, Katie.
yes.
I don't know if anybody else is interested, but what the hell are we doing any training of any sorts with anybody? Is anybody training anything?
So the county is working with MSU Extensions to get together some dates for trainings throughout the year. We want to do something
Just a yes or
quarterly.
no question.
It's the-
We
At this
will.
time, no.
Okay.
That would be, if there's trainings that you guys are interested in, I believe there's funds budgeted for trainings.
Gone through all that training.
Well, yes,
Now,
but
do
we'd
we
like to
lose
continue.
all that
Yeah.
training because we didn't reapply?
But no, they're giving us all a break.
It's supposed to be continuing ed somewhere along.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're supposed to continue our training and
Citizen
planning,
planner.
Is we
Yeah, oh, yeah.
are master planners, as most of us are. And we needed to continue that. in two of
Citizen planner?
Yes,
Citizen
citizen master
planner.
planners.
Yeah.
And all we needed to do was to cover 6 meetings throughout a year, which they've let us go because of the COVID.
Okay. Yeah,
And
I
it-
can get more information on that
Yeah.
from Mary Riley for you.
Yeah.
I'll let her know that you guys were inquiring about your citizen planners.
Because
Um,
I've been with it, but they have on Zoom, but I missed the first meeting. And I know one year, the 2 guys before you, what was his name? They left. Kyle, maybe. He got
Zach?
anyhow, they got the videos, the 6 videos, and all they did is they get them from MSU, and I watched them.
Okay, yeah,
And then, you call back and say you did it, and they credit your account.
yeah.
So it was simple enough.
Yeah, I can talk to Mary and see if there's anything, like newer that you haven't seen yet, or maybe if you just want a refresher,
Well,
we
we'd
can
like,
get
we'd like to
those.
continue our education to keep our,
Keep your credit.
title or
Yeah.
certificate,
Okay,
is what it
What
would.
do they plan on the downtown gateway? They tore everything down?
Yeah.
Is there a,
Our new parking lots.
yeah, we have not received a formal application yet, so there's not really anything I can speak on with that, but we're patiently waiting. I know everyone's very excited to see what's gonna go on with the gateway, so.
like most of the stuff down there, they start and then it just lays there for a couple of years, you know?
Yeah,
I like
that
the open
was
sight
why
lines
they-
now.
That's why they submitted changing the names.
Yeah.
That's the first step. They've got to change.
The
The name
that's
is
at the
hotel at the beach.
yeah,
That's at the big one.
Beach, not,
Okay.
not.
Oh, not for this one. It's going to be the same thing too for this.
For this one too?
This one, yes.
Oh, yeah?
But now they are, so they bought into that.
Yeah,
product.
but the, this last thing for the permit transfer was just.
Yeah, no, I'm good then, Bob, thanks, those were the only 2 issues. You saying in the hospital they're looking into for housing?
yep.
I was not gonna jump that today because that's sitting empty, I mean, I go by there, it's ridiculous. You complain about housing, that place is sitting empty.
Yeah,
You know.
I really hope that everything works out for the
Yeah.
housing commission with that property. I think it is a great,
Well, it's,
a great
it's,
opportunity.
everything is there.
Some of the
Everything is there.
statistics that they
Kitchens,
had on
beds,
aging
bathrooms, it's all
properties, which
there.
is pretty
Yeah.
astonishing.
Thank you,
That they
Kate.
were used for as long.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
things are looking good. We got the 2 new parking lots over at the corner of 31 and River Street there, that are fenced in.
Yep, that's it.
Bob, you
Little mural on the
you
side.
do have a motion on the floor.
We do.
We have a motion on?
for your letter of recommendation to city council.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Roger, was there a second on that motion? Maureen,
Marlene?
Marlene, second.
Hey, it's been a long week, long month.
Mark always, when Maureen was here, we were Maureen and Marlene.
Yeah, it was the M&Ms. Okay, take it, we have a vote?
Commissioner Samansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Memberto,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
Commissioner Yoder,
Yes,
Sheriff Slawinski.
Yes. Motion carried.
motion carried.
And nice to see that the parking lot at the Tabernacle is coming along. It looks like they're waiting on blacktop more than anything else now,
Yeah,
which is a good
putting on
sign.
everything.
But who knows what the blacktop company situations are.
Expensive.
Oh, and I apologize, one last item for staff update. You do have an economic development report. And Mark Miller is anticipated to be your presenter at the September meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
But appreciate that, report, that's definitely gives you a little input what's happening anyhow.
Yeah.
Other than that, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion?
Second.
We're going.
Lovely evening.
Yeah.